A tragedy struck the life of Jolene McIntyre, the lady of bad Chad customs. I'm strong and mighty, but you know, that one wore me out a little. You got your work boots on. I got the same ones you got on. Oh, there you go. At a time when her career was thriving and everything seemed perfectly under control, Jolene was suddenly faced with her most painful loss, the passing of her beloved mother in late 2024. The shock not only left her with inconsolable grief but also threatened to collapse the very empire she had worked so hard to build. Pressure, conflict, and emotional turmoil piled upon her all at once. But from this darkest moment in her life, Jolene had to decide, give in to breakdown or get up to carry on the fight. Through her story, the brutal truth behind the apparently unblemished halo of achievement is uncovered. Alright, you can put it in neutral now if you feel more comfortable. Oh, there you go. And then the gas is the same as anything else. And then, yeah, give her a go on the push button. I want to get this pattern right here like this. I want it straight on the back, exactly like that. Throughout the years in which bad Chad customs mesmerized a global audience, Jolene was so much more than a money manager. She was the pillar, the one who kept the whole machine running smoothly. With the massive workload that mostly drove her to the brink of burnout, every project was approached like a high-pressure race. But the pressure didn't just remain within work. Her relationship with Chad, her fiancé and partner, sometimes drew a thin line between work and personal life. The two frequently found themselves clashing over budgets, schedules, and management decisions. I'm not just a partner, Jolene once said. I'm the one who keeps things moving forward, and sometimes that makes me the most annoying person in the room. Family obligations brought another level of difficulty. Chad came with 2 children from a prior relationship, and Jolene, who felt strongly about stability, regularly found it difficult to reconcile her highly demanding career with her position within the extended family. Late-night meals, constant meetings, and long shoots left little time for personal rest or moments of real peace. Jolene's first ride, make sure that door is locked to her before we see. Hello guys, welcome back. So I had this nutty thought that I wanted to paint. Happy birthday, Rooster. I'm happy that you're following your dream and staying with us for a couple of weeks. As the TV project picked up, so did the stress. The transition to digital content almost doubled Jolene's workload. Besides organizing car projects, she now also controlled video editing, advertising budgets, and even going on camera. It turned into a never-ending cycle that filled her days and nights. There were even weeks when Jolene was hardly seen on camera. Insiders close to her shared that during those moments, she seriously questioned her role and whether to stay on or not. In reality, Jolene had been secretly planning to step aside from bad Chad customs. She was going to reduce her workload, assign more tasks, and even considered abandoning the project altogether. But in the end, her mind was made up to stay. I knew I had to keep going. If I quit, it would all crumble around me. That decision showed not only Jolene's resilience but also sacrifice. Nevertheless, the fissures behind the scenes were a canary in the mine. One more hit would cause everything to come crashing down. And that crushing blow struck, not from work but from her home life. In the latter part of 2024, Jolene began the blackest page she had ever written. Her mother, her spiritual anchor and constant pillar of strength, was abruptly diagnosed with terminal cancer. The illness advanced with brutal rapidity, and in a matter of weeks Jolene was compelled to accept the inevitable. On November 28, her mother died, leaving an irreplaceable gap. While her mother was dying, Jolene lived in 2 worlds. In the daytime, she kept up her duties at Hilt's Auto Company, holding together as a firm boss. At night, she was a mourning daughter, with every spare hour by her mother's side, crumbling silently within. Few moments were as difficult as that one, Jolene confessed. It felt like everything was falling apart in my hands. The loss was not just emotional, it seeped into every aspect of her life. Her already hectic schedule became impossible to handle under the pressure of grief. Projects lagged, collaborations were delayed, and even Chad sensed the change. The impact was palpable. What hit her fans the hardest, though, was how Jolene expressed her suffering. She flat out declared her mother's death and wrote about the deep influence her mother had on her life. In a particularly moving post, she wrote, "My mother was the most faithful woman, and I know that she is still protecting me, even when she is no longer around with us." These words were both her mourning and her thankfulness. In spite of the destruction, Jolene did not step back from her profession. Rather, she invested all her feelings in her profession, drawing strength from the very work which had otherwise seemed to overwhelm her. For her, work became a means of paying tribute to her mother's memory and keeping her spirit alive. "I think about my mom every day. That gives me the motivation to not give up," she shared in a recent video. The tragedy realigned her worldview. Where she had been driven nearly all of the time by work, she started to prioritize family, simple pleasures, and deep relationships. Vacationing with Chad and the team, family holidays, and calm moments became treasured priorities. Although she was still dedicated to expanding the brand, losing 2024 reformed Jolene into an even stronger, more resilient person. The suffering was unmistakable, yet through it all, Jolene found a personal resilience she never knew existed. She demonstrated that even in the midst of great tragedy, she could survive, persevere, and re-emerge. Her story had begun again, returning her to where she started, the same fire in her belly from growing up in Nova Scotia into the world of stretch limousines. Prior to becoming the familiar figure of Bad Chad Customs, Jolene McIntyre already established a strong foundation of information, discipline, and willpower. She was born in Centreville, Nova Scotia, and grew up in a family setting where hard work, toughness, and perseverance were being instilled in her. Jolene showed her strength early on through sports, particularly soccer. She was not only a part-time player, she was a star on her college team, where her discipline, focus, and pressure cooker performance skills were on full display. These are skills that she would later find invaluable in her career, skills that would serve her well in the pressure cooker world of high-stakes custom automotive projects. But Jolene's career didn't end on the athletic field. She approached academic life with the same seriousness. She earned her Bachelor of Commerce from St. Mary's University with a finance major. Her education provided her with the business skills and financial management techniques required for managing large projects and making difficult economic choices. Concurrently, she studied kinesiology, which provided her with hands-on knowledge of health, movement, and workplace safety, information that would be invaluable in maintaining efficiency and safety in the garage setting. After completing her education, Jolene worked in a local bar. It was initially a temporary job, but it became a turning point that changed her life. During this period, she visited a car show within walking distance of her workplace and met Chad Hiltz for the first time. It was the start of a remarkable adventure, both in her life and in her career. From being simply an auto enthusiast, Jolene soon found herself Chad's business partner in building Green Goblin Customs, the forerunner to what would eventually become Hiltz Auto Company. It wasn't long before the business partnership grew into an intimate relationship. The two were engaged within a year of their first meeting, and they staged their romance on the foundation of love and desire. In the shop, Jolene was the spark that kept everything running smoothly. She handled finances, scheduled calendars, administered projects, and saw to it that each build had a particular level of quality. Beyond the garage, she worked on branding, public image, and growing their reach. Her keen eye for the media made Chad's work reach more people. A defining moment was when Chad created a replica Bugatti out of scrap metal. Jolene videoed and posted it online, and it spread like wildfire. That viral popularity led to the Discovery Channel, catapulting Bad Chad Customs from a garage on Main Street to global recognition. Her capacity for identifying opportunity and using media proved to be everything. Jolene wasn't merely Chad's business partner, she was the visionary and planner who turned their business into a known international brand. Starting Green Goblin Customs with Chad altered the direction of her life entirely, taking her from a newly minted college graduate to a well-respected business manager in an extremely competitive field. The garage became a tourist attraction in Canning, Nova Scotia, under her leadership. What set Jolene apart was her equilibrium. She was not merely a manager with an office, she would regularly roll up her sleeves to participate in the physical labor. This desire to join the crew on the ground was something that earned her respect from the crew and acted as a reaffirmation of her credibility. Her sound educational foundation, athletic dedication, and hands-on participation ensured that she was not only an executive leader but also an integral part of the creative process. From her home life and schooling to her increasing interest in custom vehicles, Jolene established a solid foundation for herself. That foundation would eventually serve her well to step into the limelight with Bad Chad Customs, propelling her into both her greatest level of success as well as some of the most difficult times of her life. Jolene McIntyre's professional life skyrocketed when Bad Chad Customs premiered on the Discovery Channel. What started as a garage in Nova Scotia became a household name around the globe. The team's creative technique of creating one-of-a-kind vehicles out of junk parts fascinated audiences and attracted millions of followers. On the surface, it seemed like an overnight sensation, but in reality, it was a day-to-day struggle of hard work, accuracy, and Jolene's tireless push. Her contribution to the success of the show extended far beyond showing up in front of the camera. Jolene ended up being the go-to person who held the whole project together. She managed budgets, coordinated schedules, and solved issues as they came up. People who worked with her acknowledged that without Jolene's persistence and organizational abilities, many projects would have never been finished on schedule. The popularity explosion of the show can be attributed to the viral video that Jolene had shared years before, the Bugatti replica. That was proof of her vision for the media and storytelling prowess. On TV, she incorporated her professionalism into Chad's improvisational techniques, striking a balance between raw creativity and feasible planning. This juxtaposition provided Bad Chad Customs with entertainment value and technical merit. But success had a cost. The TV glare came at a price, and Jolene's schedule accelerated out of control. Non-stop shoots, non-stop production demands, and tight expectations put her under constant pressure. More than once, she was forced to make unpopular decisions in order to get projects completed, even if it involved giving up her personal time or health. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit and cancelled the third season, Jolene showed her resilience once more. She and Chad adapted very fast, turning their attention to online media such as YouTube and Facebook. Jolene took the lead in this adaptation, turning what would otherwise have been a professional setback into a huge opportunity. Their online following increased very fast, racking up tens of millions of views every month and earning huge revenues through advertisements and sponsorships. Jolene's leadership turned the garage from a local workshop into an online success. Each car was no longer merely a build, it became content, storytelling, and a means to connect with a global audience. She also diversified the business by opening a showroom that functioned as a merchandising store, collaborating with automotive brands, and developing new revenue streams.